Shinpei had no thought of returning to his hometown from Tokyo until he learned of his stepsister's death. He is met by a second stepsister named Mio, Ushio's own sister. Shinpei himself, by the way, was adopted by the Kofun family because he lost his parents as a child. When he arrives at the funeral home, he hears rumors that it wasn't an accident at all, and Ushio didn't just drown, there were strangulation marks on her neck. A sudden flash of light. That's where he meets his childhood friend So, who tells him that the child Ushio saved at the cost of her life is Shiori-chan. Evening is coming. Everyone is trying to lead a normal life. At the same time, the only policeman in town, Tatsumura Tetsu, passing by Kofun's house, starts a dialogue with Mio. What is she doing out late at night? The next day, Tatsumura comes to the cafe, telling that the family where the girl was rescued has disappeared. After running out of the cafe, Mio tells Shinpei that a week before all these events, Shiori-chan saw her doppelganger. Suddenly, they are interrupted by Nezu-san, the hunter of this town. He tells them about a shadow disease and that those who have seen their shadow do not live long. The shadow kills them and then pretends to be his victim and kills her entire family. Mio also tells that he and Ushio saw Ushio's doppelganger. Shinpei and Mio decide to go to see Haruko-sama. This is the nickname of a Shinto shrine located in the northern part of the island. Mio notices Shiori-chan in the bushes and decide to run after her, but only find the wounded girl from the ship on which Shinpei arrived on the island. Suddenly she is killed, and it's none other than the double who kills her. He also deals with Mio and Shinpei. And this is where our story begins. After disconnection, he sees some of the events of the past. About the day Ushio drowned, Shinpei wakes up on the ship. He can't leave with the feeling that everything that's happening is deja vu, repeating all those actions all the way through the evening. He can't believe it. Going out at night to breathe outside, he catches a meeting between a policeman and Mio, and he will see a horrifying picture. Mio kills a policeman and makes a double of him. Starting to panic, they find him and send him off to relive the same day again. The time point has shifted. Now he's not on the ship. Everything is repeated until the evening. He calls a policeman, trying to change the course of events. Now he tries to videotape Mio's doppelganger and shows the real Mio. Shinpei is going to go to the house of the family that disappeared. Upon entering the house, he finds traces of shadows all over the house. As he walks up to the second floor, he runs into Shiori-chan. A flash of light. Shiori-chan is no longer human, and he could have been sent to the starting point, but a passing resident intervenes in time. The shadow escaped, trying to find a dark-haired girl with a big story from the ship. He tells So about what happened, but they don't know how to tell the difference between a person and a shadow. Evening comes and everyone gathers for the festival. While our heroes are fooling around, Shinpei spots Ushio in the crowd and tries to catch up with her. He can't believe his eyes. Is this the real Ushio or is this the shadow? Why is she acting as if nothing had happened? The manner of speech and gesticulation is the same as Ushio's. Knowing that it is Shadow, Shinpei goes with her to the festival, but on the condition that her familiar should not see her. But of course she doesn't listen and suddenly appears among her friends. Everyone is shocked. Mio realizes that it's not Ushio, but it turns out that it's also not Shinpei. The real Shinpei, however, could not get there in time because he was stopped by doppelganger Mio. The shadows realize that it is not profitable to kill Shinpei before some mother awakens, and leave him to live until the ritual. The girl from the ship comes to the rescue. The shadow can only be killed by harming the shadow underfoot. She introduces herself as Nagumo Ryunosuke and tells you how to tell the difference between a person and a shadow. Shadows don't like to be stepped on. Being late, but arriving at the place, he catches the ritual with his own eyes. His friends are sacrificed, as are the rest of the islanders. He is not satisfied with this arrangement. He sees with his own eyes the horror that would ensue if he could not save everyone. It is time to go back. The point of return is shifting again. In this return, he has to find Nagumo-sensei and tell her his name so she can help him. Shinpei unravels the script the writer left behind. He contacts her, and in the course of the conversation, Nagumo-sensei guesses that this is not the first time Shinpei has experienced July 22nd. Together they decide to go to Shiori-chan's house to deal with the shadows before the festival begins. During the fight, she deals with the doppelganger's parents and catches Sayori-chan herself and deals with her. Now they're heading to his house so they can back up in case Shadow Mio shows up. But in this temporary line, Ushio finds Simpy sooner than necessary. Simpy decides to trust her after all. Now events are not as they used to be. Mio's shadow is already in the house and trying to take out Simpy, but help is here. Simpy begs Nagumo-sensei not to kill Ushio's shadow. From Nagumo-sensei's memories, we learn that it was Ushio who sent the help message, which is why Nagumo came to the island, meeting Seo to tell him all about it. Ushio unlocked her real self's phone and showed him the recording. On the tape, she tells us that her doppelganger is friendly and talks about how she met her and how she became friends. After showing the video, Ushio decides to show the guys the memories of that tragic day and what really happened. No one saw Shiori-chan go swimming, only as she began to sink, something dragging her to the bottom. When Ushio arrives to help, he sees doppelganger drowning Shiori-chan. The real Ushio decides to sacrifice herself in order for her shadow to survive and save the girl. After learning the truth, Seo and Simpei cry that they couldn't help, when suddenly Shiori from memory grabs Simpei's hand and leaves a black mark. No more running away, she says. Now the heroes decide to go to the old Seo family hospital. Perhaps there they can find answers to some of their questions. In addition to an abandoned building and garbage, they find a strange statue that is revered as Haruko-sama on this island. In passing, they discover a hidden door, the key to which is in the statue's belly. Thus, only shadows can get behind the door. In the tunnel, the friends agree to protect Ushio, as Ushio will be able to jump through time with Simpei in the future, and Simpei only needs to die to activate his power. Having dealt with the child's shadow, they continue to explore the tunnel and wander into the cave. A large number of shadows ambush them in the tunnel. Meanwhile, Nagumo-sensei is about to go down to explore the sewers in search of something worthwhile. At the same time, Mio notices the shadow girl pointing to the hatch. The policeman and Mio go down into the sewers. Shaimai and the team break out of the ambush and find themselves in another cave, where everyone is in deep water inhabitants. Ushio senses that it's all shadows. Suddenly, they are found by Takiko, Seo's sister, with two huge shadow servants. Closely examining Takiko's shadow with a nail gun, the boys check to see if she is a shadow. In fact, Takiko is human. Takiko offers them a surrender. Together they go to Haruko-sama. Meanwhile, Nagumo and Nezu-san understand how shadows move around the city, as an ordinary person cannot get through the narrow spaces and bars. Finding a cave, they meet Shadow Shiori, who survived after all. By sneaking out there, they meet four-armed shadow side scanning them. The girl tells them that Nezu is immune to the shadow disease. To be immune, they must kill their doppelganger. The girl also says that Ryunosuke is able to see the future for about 2 seconds. After hesitating, Shide kills Nezu-san and fatally wounds Ryunosuke, but she escapes. Mio and the policeman continue to follow Shadow Girl. Dragging the team to Haruko-sama, Takiko talks about the Mother of Shadows and why the ritual is necessary. It is to restore her powers and make her wishes come true. At least, that's what they think while they're serving her. Takiko also recounts that all of the bodies of the sick during his work were offered as a sacrifice to the Mother of Shadows. This is what their ancestors did as well. Takiko tells of their motivation to serve the Mother. Their mother died and the Mother made her a shadow so that she would consider herself real. Ushio eventually regains her powers by scanning the brought body of the real herself. Mother betrays Takiko and the family that served her. Side kills Mio found in the cave. The shadows want to keep Simpy alive so he can't go back. The shadow kills Ryunosuke. Having been turned away, Shadow misses the moment when Shaimai drinks a strong poison and goes to the checkpoint with Ushio. Ushio relays memories of past attempts to Nezu-san and Nagumo-sensei. Together they make an attempt to erase Shiori-chan, as she is this shadow, part of the Mother herself. But something doesn't go according to plan. It turns out that because Shinpei was tagged by Mother earlier, she can now jump after him into another reality along with the four-armed man. Simpy and Ushio jump through time again, but gets not to the checkpoint, but into Nagumo-sensei's memories and how she lost her brother, was friends with Hein, and how she shares her body with two personalities. Next, Shinpei, with the help of Ushio, gathers acquaintances and friends in order to show her memories and make a plan of counteraction against Mother. Before he has time to make a plan, he is killed. The faster he dies, the closer he is to the point of no return. Now he has to make a better plan. Mother senses Simpy on the mark and does not come alone. Removing Shade, Nezu-san realizes that as if Shide has no weaknesses. Shine and Mother rush after Shinpei and Ushio, but the latter leads them into a trap, setting Shide on fire, separating them from Hein, but Hein manages to escape. The others manage to catch Mio's shadow and, with Ushio's help, break Mio's bond with his mother. Now Mio's double is harmless and will help the guys. Next, the team decides to pay a visit to So and Takiko's family hospital to find their father and restore Ushio's shadow by scanning the body. Unable to retrieve Ushio's body, they pull So and Takiko's father to their side. He tells them that many have become food for Hein and Simpy's parents are on the list of names as they found the cave and were about to make the find public. The next day, people start disappearing en masse in the city, leaving only black footprints in place. The boys realize that it's getting closer to the festival, and it seems they have a clue who Shade Shia belongs to. Simpei goes to the temple to see Kirikiri-san in the hope to tell him and check his conjectures, and they turn out to be true. But it was all Shide's trap, and he manages to deal with Ushio. Things go badly, and now he is forced to go back without Ushio. Immediately upon his return, he is attacked by Mother, hoping to sort it out once and for all, but she is scared away by a piece of Ushio's power sealed in a seashell. At this time, Simpy's shadow splits the team into two groups with his phone call. Simpy has to choose who to go to first. Finding Mio's shadow, Simpy decides to go to So and Mio to help, but he finds only an injured Takiko. She tells him that something terrible has already happened to Nagumo-sensei and the others and he didn't make it in time. Simpei decides to return to the checkpoint. This time he manages to catch up with Seo and Mio, telling them not to go into the trap, and goes to the beach himself, where the battle is already in full swing. Upon arrival, Shinpei sees that Nagumo-sensei is already mortally wounded, but he cannot go back yet. Ushio's power scares away the enemies, and the team is forced to act without Nagumo-sensei's help, but she was able to hand Shinpei his brother, Ryunosuke, to help and see things through. Shinpei decides to find that Ushio, who is nailed to the shore by the 4 time period, before the vestibule in order to return her memories and powers with the help of the seashell. They succeed. They hide their presence from Mother and Shia to be the first to reach the cave where Hein's real body resides. The team weakens Hein's already weakened body, which Shia decides to take advantage of. Leaving Hein alive, he is still able to use his shadow powers. He lures Shinpei and Ushio into a world where time has stopped. Now Ryunosuke will not be able to use the 2-second advantage of foreseeing the future. A final battle erupts in which only one will emerge victorious. Well, what is an anime without an epic coup at the end of the fight and a victory of the good guys over evil? Simpy deals with Shide. Taking on Haruko, the team travels far back in time to the time of Haruko's arrival on the island, and with Ushio's help, they erase the creature so that it does not exist in the present day. Simpy returns to time already with a good ending. Everyone is alive. Simpy manages to protect his family and friends. Everyone gathers for the festival, celebrating. Everything is as it should be.